This is Bob from Bobby Broadcast Delhi. Today, the topic of discussion is a lot more encouraging, not focusing on all the downsides or focusing on some optimism. Let's see what I have, right? Generally, I'm skeptical of these constant pronouncements by the finance minister, the chief economic advisor, the prime minister about how the economy is doing and it's doing better and stuff like that. But love to hate him, hate to love him, love to love him, hate to hate him. The prime minister might have something going for him, and hence for India. When you look at a couple of things, right, and I will talk you through them and why I think that there might be something there, right? First is about COVID, right? We have an article that says that COVID cases, deaths in India are now down to half of peak in mid-September. Well, a lot of people are talking about the dangers of the second wave has been hit the United States, has hit Europe. India obviously is at the end of its first wave. Have we timed something? Maybe we might just beat the second wave because it seems that the vaccine is around the corner now. It wasn't around the corner when suddenly, Italy started thinking everything was okay or Europe started thinking everything, but it has started. It's in India, it's probably bettering off now, and the timing of it might just work to our advantage with the vaccine coming out by end January. Now, also on the economic front, you have a small news item, like I said, good start to Diwali sales, says Amazon. Apple enjoys record September quarter in India, very important, announced globally. And like I'd say, Indian consumer recovery grabs eyeballs globally. Amazon, Samsung, Apple and others highlight strong demand in the country. What I would say, we should not sit on our laurels because a lot more needs to be done. I think at this stage we have the risk of plateauing and then going down because this was probably a lot of pent-up demand. But if the government right now pump primes the demand through further spread of cash in the hands of your middle class and the lower middle class, I think it may have turned the corner. Now let's see where India, because of the wind behind its sail, has an advantage that can work very well for it going forward. Which are the areas that I would focus on? One is fabrication of chips. The other would be solar panels. The third would be rare earths, and next would be EV batteries, APIs, and supply chains would be the last, right? So first, right, off the back, we bought the tech cold war comes to India, essentially when we banned Chinese apps, Baidu, Weibo, etc., etc. I'm sad that we haven't banned Paytm yet because Paytm essentially is nothing but a Chinese company. Though I believe in the parliamentary committee, they were asked about the ownership, and I believe if it shows that Ant has a substantial ownership of Paytm, government should take the action, right? And I think it does because in the prospectus for the IPO, Paytm has a huge play, right? Now, semiconductors. What's important is what Ajay Chaudhary wrote some months back, right? He says, make King India Atam Nirbhar electronics. He says what we should be doing, and I agree with him totally, and I've been saying this for a while. Quickly acquiring a second-hand fab of 28 nm, which will take care of a large part of India's current needs instead of going after the most modern fab. This will not cost more than 5 to 700 million. Alternatively, attract a Samsung type company to move existing fab to India. This is critical because the chip manufacturing world is seeing amazing disruption. How you see? First, US seeks to close a chip production gap, and it is in fact invited SMC from Taiwan to set up a plant in Arizona. You have a situation where big tech is shifting focus to race with China, knowing that China is a competitor. You also been told that China's semiconductor quest is likely to fail, leaving rapprochement with the US the only way out. And the chip world, crazy. Started with Nvidia deal could change the chip world. Nvidia buying ARM from SoftBank for 40 billion. This action could be in some kind of trouble. Then you have Intel sells key chip unit for 9 billion to Korea's SK Hynix. So what this says is Intel deal quickens chip industry's merger and acquisition. On the top of it, you already had chip deals intensifying with AMD's 35 billion takeover of Xilinx. Xilinx, which says chip company AMD pursues rival for 30 billion tie-up. And recently today you had another one. Chip firm Marvell nears a $10 billion merger with a deal for Infi. You know, and with all this, right, everybody in the entire spectrum of this space is changing. AMD and Nvidia chip away at Intel's dominance. Chips are important, folks. And here I tell you, India has the ability to enter the race. More after the break. Welcome back, folks. Here's an important article that I read that I think India should take note of and take immediate steps. It says China builds computing center in Tibet to serve South Asia. It says a cloud computing center in Tibet's Lhasa is set to become China's gateway to collect data from South Asian countries like Pakistan, Nepal and Bangladesh by 2021, an official media report said on Thursday. Adding that once completed, the hub will meet the data storage needs of client countries. This is a rare example of China's potential digital influence and impact on South Asian countries where it is already pumping in billions in physical infrastructure. Folks, let's turn this around. Why are they setting it up in Tibet? Tibet is about, folks, clean air, dry air, environment, water. India should immediately take the leap of faith and look at setting up a computing center in Ladakh along with a chip fab center. Why do I say that? Two reasons. Firstly, Ladakh is absolutely a Xerox copy of Tibet in terms of weather. Plenty of water, plenty of fresh water, plenty of dry, cool air, lots of land, more advantage, cheap energy, set up huge thermal solar power fields. What happens, and the thermal will be through production of steam using used water from the fab plant. It's like a huge connection possibility. And if our bureaucrats were ever thinking out of the box and have driven down in the desert between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, they would have seen this incredible plant. That plant technology can be set up in India, provide cheap power to the fab plant. The water could be recycled and used for the thermal plant, and you would have a win-win situation all around, and you would have a counter to China. And we can set up a computing plant, folks. And why is that? Because here, I had a long time ago a note, IBM's first cloud data center in India to focus on private services for SMEs. Why just a cloud center for SMEs? Let's just think big. Like China, just take a couple of $100 million, you got a whole bunch of land, you got a whole bunch of water, you got clean air. Let's look at the bigger picture, folks, and it'll be a smack on the face of China that they've never seen before, and invite some Korean and American companies to do it. And why I say this is because what you're seeing is there's the India moment in the 100 billion club. This is TCS has entered the 100 billion club, and the shift in geoeconomics opens up the possibility of an Indo-US tech partnership, what I call a tech bubble. You also have RIL builds indigenous 5G technology, says ready to take on world. Absolutely, with Qualcomm on its side, with Microsoft on its side. We are ready to take on the Chinese, folks. And then you have finally Bharti in the game. Bharti ties up with global firms, kicks off Oran tech plans. India, folks, this is one of the reasons that I'm really positive and confident that this COVID can have huge advantages unseen before. Hopefully this time around we will bell the cat and take the bull by the horns. More after the break.
Driving force of the nation, now driving Max Plus Logistics. Unparalleled discipline, exceptional work ethic and diligence combined with mental and physical agility to meet any challenges. moving forward on the right path in the face of physical stress and adversity. Max Plus Logistics. Wait till the end for some more information. May the Max Force be with you.
Folks, the second big opportunity is solar and solar products to be manufactured in India, besides creating a huge alternative energy bank, right, and reducing the environmental impact of fossil fuels. And here, I think, love to love him, hate to hate him, I think the Prime Minister has done an incredible job, and I read this article, which is very important, Sucking Out the Filthy Air by Vivek Wadhwa. He says the fact is that even though US and China may have initiated environmental destruction through their use of fossil fuels, they are not going to save it. It will have to be India. Okay. Then he says, the good news is that India is up to the task despite the massive coal industry. It is moving forward with ambitious clean energy initiatives. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Here it goes. India pledged to increase the share of power generation capacity that doesn't use fossil fuels to 40% by 2030. Today, generation capacity from renewable, hydroelectric and nuclear sources already reaches 38%, folks, and it's only 2020. It is also committed to reducing the carbon emissions intensity of its GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 from 2005 levels. As of 2015, India had already reduced that by 21%, and the fall could be as much as 45% by 2030. Today, India's fossil fuel power generation capacity is about 230 gigawatts, of which 205 gigawatts comes from coal. So when the Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced plans to build 175 gigawatts of new renewable energy capacity by 2022, the announcement was met with skepticism. However, Niti Aayog, the country has already installed 89 gigawatts of renewable power capacity and will achieve the 175 gigawatt by the end of 2022. Folks, we are on track. India's clean energy initiatives have the wind at their back thanks to global advances in technology, especially solar power, wind power and energy storage. These technologies are progressing exponentially and have entered a virtuous cycle. As prices for these technologies fall, demand for them rises. Folks, here we have a critical advantage because we are leader of the International Solar Alliance. There are companies from the United States, solar panel companies willing to invest in India. I think India should just set up a huge production base for solar material, and I think it's absolutely doable. As he says, the sunshine, he says, wind power becomes cost competitive with coal in 2018 and costs continue to plummet. Battery technology, once the crucial weak link in renewable energy, is rapidly approaching the point which it solves a critical problem that has held most clean energy back. Solar panels only generate power when the sun shines and windmills only run when it's windy. Until now, the dirty secret of green power has been that every gigawatt of green power had a gigawatt of sometimes on, sometimes off renewable generating capacity has required another gigawatt of fossil fuel power generating capacity. So, however, India made green history this year, breaking not one but two records. In January, it conducted the world's largest tender for renewable power that no longer requires fossil fuels backup. One company, Greenco, will provide 900 megawatts and another Renew Power will provide 400 megawatts. Price has dropped to $290 per kilowatt per hour. It will be the world's lowest rate for uninterrupted renewable power, finally making generating and storing clean energy cheaper than burning coal. Then end to end it all. With costs already among the lowest in the world, India is at the cusp of an age of truly competitive, unsubsidized clean energy. With the prices of solar panels and batteries falls another 50% as it's likely during the next 3 years, market forces will take over and a consumer will take the clean energy mantle from the government and help save the planet. Folks, here we are the front runners. Let us not lose the edge. Let us not lose to China. Let us not take the easy way of importing from China, irrespective of what our naysayers say. This is absolutely doable in India, folks. Good day and Jai Hind.